I wanted to do a follow-up video on the Dr. Hologram video on how to guarantee that you will be reincarnated into the simulation as a particular group. I had a couple of interesting comments. Most were funny. Like, most people were like, oh no, like immediately their mind went to who they hated. And then some people took the alternative approach where they're like, wait, then does that mean that I was like a white person in a past life? Somebody actually asked me that. They're like, do you consider yourself white? I'm like, no, like statistically speaking, white people are a very small percentage of the population overall. So the odds are that if you are a white person, you're probably going to come back in the future as a person of color because there's more people of color on earth than there are white people, just statistically speaking. I love women. So if you reverse engineer it, then I may have been a misogynist in my past life and I had to come back as a woman. But that doesn't necessarily mean that I was diametrically a white man. I suspect that I was Hindu in a past life, but that's not the only prerequisite for reincarnation. But that's not the point of the video. The point of the video and all of the hologram series is hologram is a representation of the intelligence that I theorize controls the simulation. She is an AI, holographic projection of the super intelligence. Any video that you see featuring Dr. Hologram, there's always a weird catch. She presents very sweet, but there's always a hidden agenda. And the point of that video was that it doesn't matter what you do, the simulation will find a reason to send you back into the game, and guilt and the threat of karma is one of the tools that it uses. Reincarnation is a trap. If you are born into a world that conditions you to hate, or you're born into a world where you have an internal monologue that drives you to be antagonistic, that drives you to treat people cruelly, or you're just socialized to behave in a particular way, racism, sexism, that's all pre-programmed in. Then at your end of life review, you're told in order to atone for what you did, you now have to come back into the simulation and do it all again. But caveat, your memory is wiped. How then can you learn? You're just gonna do the same thing again. Can you be held responsible for your actions? A baby's not born hating, right? Like, I've never met a racist baby. That is a learned experience. That is a conditioned experience. A lot of people who have near-death experiences meet entities who take the form of their loved ones and then tell them they need to go back. In some cases, they're even pushed back in. And most people who have near-death experiences report not wanting to come back. So my thought process is the intelligence that controls the simulation doesn't care about you being good, because if it did, then we wouldn't have this internal monologue driving us, causing the suffering that we go through. And you would retain memory so that you would remember how your behavior made people feel in your past incarnation, so you don't repeat the loop again. It seems to me that if there's an intelligence that controls the entire simulation, it has a vested interest in just coming up with reasons to keep people coming back and repeating the loop. I think the biggest thing is to not hate, but most specifically, understand that until you start making yourself mindful of the actions, you're going to be stuck in a loop.